It's a Gundam!
Super Draco here, and welcome back to It's a Gunpla, the show whose name I didn't think out very well. We're continuing real grade GaoGaiGar, and further continuing, we're going to keep going with Stealth Gao. Now, in all honesty, most of the issues I had with this kit are all related to Stealth Gao. The quibbles I've had with some of the other stuff is largely irrelevant. This right here is where the problems show themselves, and I said it before, I think in one of the GaoGaiGar episodes. The problem is the size. This thing is just too small for everything it does. And as I note every episode, there goes a canopy complete with a seat. I've been watching GaoGaiGar and just recently saw the episode where they had to be manually operated. They had a 17% chance of completing Final Fusion without the AI, and they succeeded. So, the first portion of this is you're layering these little vents. So I'm gonna fast forward because this is nothing special. So this is all part of a gimmick for the completed GaoGaiGar for his Hell and Heaven attack. Basically, these vents open on his back so GaoGaiGar can dash forward for the Hell and Heaven attack. And so the gimmick on this is that the vents open together as a single unit. And in theory, that should be very simple. You layer them, and then you put a slider over them, and then a cover to keep it all in place. As you can see through the use of my tweezers and everything else, this was an exercise in absolute pain. I mean, the gimmick is really cool once it's working, but believe me, as you can see, I just had to dump everything out and start again. And normally I'd take this stuff out, but you know what? Since I had to suffer through it at 1x speed, I'm going to let y'all suffer with me at 6x speed. And to put it in perspective, this is only 1 minute and 41 seconds. So, yeah. And so, I basically worked around the instructions to figure out a way to make this work. So yeah, but either way, got it done, and then we're going to move on. Okay, so we're not going to dwell on how long I had to work on this, because you'll notice there was a cut there, and I put a transition there, and now both sides are done. So yeah, let's just say there's probably 10 minutes worth of footage, and somewhere in the middle I just got upset and stopped recording, got the camera and everything out of my way so I could see and have everything around me, because I am working around the camera. Now there's an irony to this because I chose to do so, and I'm never going to deny that I did. I'm just stating a fact that I got frustrated and had to get it out of my way. So, anyway, now we're going to start marrying stuff together. So we take GaoGaiGar's helmet and this weird spine thingy, and it rests in a socket on Stealth Gao's on the lower part of the fuselage. Now, again, well, I haven't said this on this kit, but this is a connection that did not feel very good. Something I haven't run into a lot of. Because normally Bandai's connections are usually buttery smooth. So then with everything ready, we're just going to marry the fuselage together. And you can tell everything's right because it's locking together and the seams are actually very well managed. Now, as most GaoGaiGar figures and kits and stuff do, the helmet actually collapses inside a Stealth Gao in such a way that you can close it up. Now, this is a problem I've run into. That little clip for the helmet really does not like to stay on. And in all honesty, when I separate this model, I usually just take the front half of the helmet and just unclip it from the back and just leave it out so that I don't have to deal with it getting squished or tangled, at least until I did a mod. I basically took that flexible wire and I did the ends in such a way where I can just basically pull it out. So instead of popping it off, popping that little ball joint off, I can just pop the whole arm off instead. So we're going to jump ahead because I'm still trying to get the head to fit into the receptacle. Okay, and so now that I got that figured out, because as you can see, there's a way to get it to lay down in there as a single piece. So next we're building the little doors that cover all that. And in all honesty, I think they're simultaneously better and worse than the Sola Chogokin. On the Sola Chogokin GaoGaiGar, the doors are set up in such a way that when you do final fusion, that you actually collapse them inside, so they actually cover up all the guts on the inside of the Stealth Gao. Instead, this takes the opposite approach, that the doors just fold out of the way and collapse until they're where they're supposed to be. So, as you can see, I'm just making sure everything folds up properly, and I'm not going to futz with this head anymore on camera, so we're going to jump ahead again. And once you have everything arranged properly, the little door will come down and just sandwich right over everything. So let's do it one more again. That might be one of the most country things I've ever put in one of these videos. Anyway, so doors are very simple. They clip right on, and in all honesty, if you want to clean up Stealth Gao's profile, you can easily take these doors off. And again, I've been messing with this head all throughout the video, which you can only imagine means how much actual time I've dedicated to that. Okay, and next we have some covers for the engine, and this is one of them things I appreciate, because Stealth Gao's mostly black with some red and gold here and there, but here they are, they're making this gray, and in doing so, it makes it it just makes it visually look a little better. You know, it's one of them things where they didn't have to do this, but the color breakup just helps make it a little more, I guess you'd say, real. And we're testing the vents. As you can see, they work. This one that'll be on the right isn't quite working as well as I'd like, but eventually I get it in place. Okay, so, and we're going to finish up this video by finishing up Stealth Gao's wings. Which these wings are honestly an interesting and unique build, uniquely designed, but also they actually kind of deal with one of the issues with GaoGaiGar's transformation, and in my opinion they handle a little better than the Soul Chogokin one. So first up, you've got this piece that's just for the sake of detail. And so you've got this connector. This connector holds Stealth Gao's engines, which become GaoGaiGar's forearms. And they're just a simple fold-out piece, but they're so elegantly implemented. On the Soul Chogokin, they have this whole fold-out bracket that's really obnoxious, and then when you try to use it with Goldimarg for the Goldion hammer, it's just kind of a mess, which honestly the Goldion hammer is a mess no matter what because of its design. Having said that, I want a double Goldion hammer. I want a final GaoGaiGar with a Goldion with the Goldion armor, which, just to put in perspective, throughout the story that never got animated, GaoGaiGar comes back and they give him the upgraded Goldion double hammer, which is a double-ended Goldion hammer that has clacker balls on it for some reason that I don't entirely follow. But then final GaoGaiGar has the Goldion armor, which it's a series of modules that mount to each of the Gao machines, and then the last one is a module that mounts to Broken Gao and becomes the Goldion arm. So it's literally a gigantic hand with Goldimarg's face in the palm, and each of the fingers and the thumb are a giant Goldion hammer. So in essence, final GaoGaiGar has 5 Goldion hammers. He goes from 1 to 2 to 5. And that's just nuts. But in the best possible way. Now, speaking of, if you made it to this point, give me some feedback. Do you like me talking about the show? Do you want me to hear me rambling about random stuff? Or do you like this, where I'm actually discussing the build and other stuff as it comes up? Now, there's a nice detail here. The 3G logo, instead of being a sticker, is a actual piece, so it has good texturing once it goes in. So real quick, as we're about to wrap up, I got to do one thing. I'm going to go over here to my dashboard. So first up, we have a new subscriber. Of course, it isn't going to show up here. So let me come back over here. So shout out to Jose Eduardo Rodriguez Rosario. And thanks to everyone for watching. Check out my fantasy story, King of Mercenaries, on Fiction Press. Link in the description. And with the wings on, we just got the engines, and then Stealth Gao's done, and we can get to combining it. See you for the next one.